Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stretford Paddock. I am Alex, and I am back outside Old Trafford, bringing you the latest Manchester United news. Well, it's not really Manchester United news at the minute. It's football news. Usually on the Tuesday mornings, I get to come and talk about the Monday night football, how that's affected us, and how a last-minute Leeds winner, has put Liverpool outside the top four, which is great. Get to talk about how that's going to affect things. Usually bring you an Erling Haaland transfer rumour, Jadon Sancho, one of those kind of guys, but today, as we have been doing for the last couple of days now, we'll be talking about the European Super League and the fallout from all that, and the more information that we are finding on a day-to-day, on an hourly basis. I'm going to talk a little bit about Gary Neville's thoughts last night and his row with Jurgen Klopp. We're going to get into Florentino Perez, who is the president of Real Madrid, now the president of the new European Super League. He's been speaking to Spanish media. But to start with, I'm going to touch on a little bit about what Laurie Whitwell has been saying. So Laurie Whitwell, obviously writer for The Athletic, he spoke yesterday about a little bit about the Manchester United players getting more informed about the European Super League. They had a Zoom call or meeting with Ed Woodward yesterday, and this is what he had to say. He said the boys aren't happy. They feel exposed by the club, uninformed, and as though the club didn't bother to fill them in or consult the players over career influencing changes. Ed Woodward informed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of the authenticity of the Super League reports ahead of Sunday's game against Burnley once the team sheets had been handed in, but there was no time to elaborate on details. Look, I think we'll get into this with Jurgen Klopp and how Gary Neville spoke about things last night, but we can't blame any of the players with all this, and we definitely can't be blaming the managers. Jurgen Klopp got prickly, was the term used last night about the comments, mainly because he can't be honest about what he wants to say. He can't really tell the truth. He can't say how things are feeling. A couple of players have spoken out. James Milner said he didn't like it last night, but as someone who's probably going to retire in the next 12 months, I don't think that's going to affect his career too badly. But the players are in a sticky situation. They're going to be in the position that if they go against this, they risk losing a lot of money. Because let's be serious, this isn't just going to be affect the top six teams. Yes, they're going to get more money. Yes, wages are going to go up for those top six, the Big 12, whatever you want to call them, the knobhead 12, whatever call them. Their wages are going to go up. But that'll then mean that the wages in the other teams are going to go down because the money's just not going to filter down as well. Because there's less chance for them to make it into Champions Leagues and things like that, where the money is. That's how teams like Leicester City and West Ham kind of grow. That's how they get there. They grow and they get into the Premier League and they do well. They then get into Europe and get a little bit more TV revenue, and therefore they can invest in their squads. But those TV revenue is going to go down. The Premier League TV revenue is going to go down because it's going to be less competitive. Less people are going to want to watch this if this goes through. So the players are in the situation of, what do I do? Do I stick by this and, maybe get called out for a bit, but I'll be making 500 grand a week? Or do I drop down to an Everton or Leicester or whoever, a different foreign league, where I'm not going to get paid anywhere near that? I'm not going to get paid near what I'm on right now. It's a tough situation for the players, and the fact that they got told, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got told just before the Burnley game yesterday in the manner he did, you could see in his press conference or his interview yesterday, he was in shock. He didn't know what to say. He avoided questions. It's worrying for them. It's worrying for them, and we'll wait and see how the players and how the managers react in the coming weeks. Moving on from that, Monday Night Football last night, Gary Neville obviously on there with Jamie Carragher, and I think more people, especially myself, were looking at what they were going to say over what the football was last night. The football seemed so secondary, and you can probably hear from me, I'm still in, it's honestly a crap mood, because football does feel secondary. It doesn't feel like it's going to matter in the next 12 months. It's going to feel like, from what we do and what I've always done, which is talk about football, love watching football, that it's not going to matter. It's going to change, and it's going to become a sport that's kind of secondary to a lot of people who it's been a major part of their lives. But Gary Neville was speaking yesterday, and fair play to Gary Neville for admitting what he said in the past. He spoke about the Glazers and said that in the past I've not spoken about it, I've been very quiet. He mentioned that as he was a player and it got taken over, how he didn't say anything. And he mentioned that, as long as I went to watch Manchester United and it felt like Manchester United, I was fine. And he said the same things as what I think a lot of us are saying when the Saudi rumours came out last year, is the alternative to the Glazers. What is it? It's a billionaire that's maybe probably sports washing, doing these kind of things. Yeah, it'd be great to sign a few players and have billions in the bank and do all this stuff and even invest in that place. It'd be great. But having a Saudi investor, is it morally right? Is it great? Is it what Manchester United are about? And I think that what Gary Neville said was that as long as I can go and watch Man United and compete in the Premier League and we do all that, yeah, we're going to have owners that can take money out, but get used to that. But like he mentioned yesterday, they've overstepped the mark. They aren't just doing this for them taking out their dividends every year and pissing off a few Manchester United fans. They are changing the structure of English football for the foreseeable future and the structure of football in the world, and how people are going to, experience games. They're not just going to affect the top 6 clubs, not just going to affect the Premier League. This is going to be a trickle down through to grassroots football, through to lower divisions. And he said yesterday, we need to get them out. We need to get them out of the club. We need to get them away from it all. And I think that, like he mentioned, he said a lot of fans will be saying, do you know what, we said this in 2005 and the Premier League stood by it. Sky Sports didn't really do much and all these different companies didn't really say much until it's now affecting them. It's now affecting their income. It's now affecting what they're going to do. It's going to affect everything. And now they've realised that the guys that are in charge of the big 6 clubs in England, that are in charge of the clubs across the world, are doing it. They're doing it for money, and we all knew that. But I don't think they realised that they could do this, and they didn't think that they would do this. They wouldn't just think that, look, we don't need anyone else. We're the main players. Manchester United, we're more important than any other club in the country. Maybe we can take these other 5 with us, get Real Madrid, Barcelona involved. That'll do it. But now it's affecting it. And then on to Jurgen Klopp's comments. He mentioned Gary Neville saying that, he mentioned you'll never walk alone. He'll say that it's embarrassing that that's the case. And Gary Neville went into saying, look, I've insulted Liverpool many times about all sorts of different things. I think that what he's said there was, I think that Jurgen Klopp's worried that it's affecting the players and the fans and that those people are getting targeted. And I kind of get that. The reception from Leeds fans yesterday to Liverpool players was probably wrong, but where this is the problem is that where else do you direct that anger, direct those protests? The players are going to be the ones that sadly get a bit of stick, whether that be arriving at stadiums and things like that. But it's not them. I don't think that was what Gary Neville was saying. What he's saying is that those owners at FSG market the "you'll never walk alone" thing in the same way that Manchester United market putting on the side of the stadium, football is nothing without fans. But they forgot about that. It's just like I said, it's marketing. It's a marketing ploy. It's a nice tagline they can use. That's what they've used it for, and that's what Gary Neville was saying about "you'll never walk alone." Yes, it's about the fans, and no, he doesn't know the history of it all, and no, he doesn't know every word to "you'll never walk alone" I've seen today. But what it's about is it's about that this isn't Liverpool Football Club. That's not what it's about. This money. That's not. How dare they use these slogans and use these different things, and how dare Manchester United yesterday press release and put in the MEN about this is what Sir Matt Busby would have wanted. This is how he wanted to do things and all that. It's honestly, that was embarrassing yesterday from the MEN, from Manchester United. The MEN should have just not even printed it. Shouldn't have even put it out there. It's disgusting. Disgusting that you've got a Munich memorial behind me of guys that, Sir Matt Busby fought to get Manchester United into European competition in order to play against the best teams because he thought they deserved it. And he didn't think it was just Manchester United. He wanted all of British football to be in there. Celtic got in there before us. They won the European Cup before us. They wanted that. He wanted the fact that if we're the best team in Europe, we can go and compete with them. If we're not the best team in Europe, it doesn't matter. Then the next team goes. And the European Cup then was the champions of England that would go every year. And United in 1958 were the champions, were going to... And that team didn't come home. And then they didn't, like Steve mentioned yesterday, they didn't automatically get put back in because of a tragedy. We had to work their way back. And 10 years later, They worked their way back with a team mainly based off youth players and won it. And this is all getting forgotten by these owners because they're trying to cash in, and it's honestly disgusting. Next on, speaking of disgusting, we'll move on to Florentino Perez this morning. He is the president of Real Madrid, the president of UEFA, of the European Super League, and he's been speaking about this, and he's the first one starting to go into the media and try and justify all this kind of stuff. He's speaking to El Chiringo TV, saying last year we lost 5 billion combined. Real Madrid alone have lost 400 million euros. Many important clubs in Spain, Italy and UK need to find a solution to this terrible financial situation. When you have no income apart from TV rights, the solution is to play more attractive games with fans that can watch from all around the world. We concluded that if we play a Super League instead of the Champions League, we would be able to alleviate what we have lost financially. Football needs to change and to be more attractive globally. The Champions League has lost its interest it had in the 1950. Changes happen, and every at the FIFA and time were against it. What? Honestly, talking wibble. He's again. This kind of came out yesterday as well, where these owners are trying to justify this and say, look, if we make more money, everyone will make more money. That's how it's going to work. We'll guarantee ourselves loads of money every year, and that will drip down. No, what will happen is that top 6 in the UK, that top 3 in Spain will become bigger than everyone else. And he goes on to mention that it's not a closed league. People can come in and qualify. Yeah, but that's one. What you're not understanding is that the disparity in money is going to be much greater in those top 6 teams, those top 3 teams. That means that Manchester United are going to have an extra 300 million quid in the bank every year. Manchester City are going to have an extra 300 million quid in the bank every year. Which will mean that they will walk the leagues. Now, at the minute, look, there's obviously teams with loads of money. Manchester United as a prime example with a lot of money. Them talking about things and we're not quite winning the league. But it's only a matter of time before, if you have the 23 years of this, where these top 6 teams are guaranteed £300 million at least every single year ahead of everybody else, the disparity becomes too much, and it just breaks the entire system. This is the disgusting bit, really disgusting. One of the reasons we're doing it is to save football, to save it in general. This is going to be the marketing, this is going to be how they're going to sell this over the next few weeks, that they're going to try and push that us doing this is a way of doing it, and they'll come out with some kind of package and say, we're going to drip money down, we're going to spend an extra 5, these 10 million, 100 million pounds are going to drip down, and we're going to pay these smaller clubs, it's going to go into grassroots football. But it's lies. It's lies. What it is them to make as much money as they can, and it's for them to guarantee money. If you look at Manchester United's financial reports over the last few seasons, the one thing that they show is when they're in the Champions League, they don't have to win it, don't have to do it, you don't even have to do well. When they're in the Champions League, they guarantee an extra £200 million in the bank. That's from sponsors, TV rights and everything. And that means that they're stable. And you've seen how the Glazers do things. They don't spend money when they're in the Champions League. It's backwards in footballing terms. They do this, they spend this 200 million to get us back in there, and then they stop. They stop right there because they know they're going to guarantee the income. And what these guys have all looked at each other and go, right lads, we can guarantee that every single year. We'll just do it our own. We'll get JP Morgan to finance it. We'll guarantee it. There's no, if we have a bad season, no, like Liverpool this year, probably going to finish 5th or 6th, no drop off in revenue. There's no having to manage things and have to drop players and sell players. That's what it should happen. I hate backing up Leeds fans because, look, United Leeds and stuff has never been great, and I've heard horrible stories. But 2 things happened yesterday. The first thing was the Leeds players got it spot on with the T-shirts. Earn it. Earn what you get there. Patrick Bamford yesterday, fantastic. Speaking about this yesterday, it's amazing how quickly these Premier League and Sky Sports and everyone acts when it's cash coming out of people's pockets. But the other thing I saw from Leeds yesterday was that about 20 years ago, Leeds United Football Club tried to scam things a little bit, and they got things wrong with the money. And they had to sell all the players. And they got relegated. And it took them 16 years to get back into the top flight. And that's what football's about. If things go wrong, you get relegated. You've got to earn your way back. And whether that's by investing more money, having new investors come in, yes, that may be a part of it. But that's how it's going to be. You have to earn your way back. And they were spot on yesterday with the T-shirts. They were spot on with everything they said yesterday. The fans were bang on to protest outside the grounds. And it'll be interesting to see how this goes in the next few days for the other games, because we've got a lot of midweek games, and the big six, apart from Manchester United, play pretty much every day this week. So it'll be very interesting what's happening outside the grounds. I'm going to close on Gary Neville spoke yesterday about what you can do, because the one thing is, like, everyone feels a little bit helpless. First thing is, don't direct this at the players. Don't tweet and abuse players. The players are going to be in a horrible situation. Don't direct this at managers. This has nothing to do with them. You saw Jurgen Klopp yesterday. He didn't really know anything. You've heard the story about Solskjaer. It's not about that. Gary Neville said yesterday, write to your local MPs. The Manchester MPs have already sent letters to the Glazers. Do things like that. Explain all this. Explain how Manchester United Football Club affects you. Don't just explain about what you watch on TV, because that's what it is. It's more than that, and I think that's what they're forgetting. It's more than just watching football matches on TV. This is culture, and has been since Manchester United's been here, and it will be forever as long as we can prevent this disgusting thing from happening. So do things like that, but direct your anger and thoughts to these 6 owners, these 6 families that Gary Neville spoke about last night that are doing this on greed. Don't do it to the players. The players have nothing to do with this. Do it towards them. Right, that is all from me. This has been Stretford Paddock. This has been the news this morning. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you subscribe to Stretford Paddock. We'll be here all the way through. We'll cover this as best as we possibly can, keeping you up to date as things go. Make sure you follow us on social media. We'll be on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff, keeping you updated with everything. And hope to see you soon. See you later.